perception. I know it's odd because you look at Kevin Owens and you think, well, he's had a little bit more success than what Joe has, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Matt?
Well, I don't know. You're hitting on a whole new subject here. Maybe this is why Vader didn't do so well in WWE.
Yeah, goes back that long. But then, you're saying that Vince used to love guys sort of similar to that look, those monsters. So, Yokozuna didn't do too bad, did he? 2 WrestleMania headlines in a row. So, it's fascinating. I just got a feeling that, Joe, Samoan wrestlers are always known as sort of fierce, not to be messed with guys. And I feel like they could have done such a great job with Joe. He's so experienced in the ring. I know it probably sounds a little bit odd for me to say, but I do rate him as high as guys like even AJ Styles. I rate him in the category. He's been around as long. He's built his own name. Before he got to WWE, most people knew he was. A bit like CM Punk before he came in. I just feel a little bit let down for Joe. So it was the match on the night against Kofi, and I just knew going into it there was no way. And Matt alluded to the statistics that I sent him earlier. 8 times he's attempted to win the belt and not successful, which is not a great statistic, all in all, to have. And a little bit of a waste, really, for me on that one. Something else we got, Matt, we've had a lot from Bobby, our old boy Bobby, promo of 2018, no doubt for us, for me personally. About his sisters and he loves you and all that lark. Now Bobby Lashley, slightly different. Poor old Braun Strowman, I feel for this guy. This guy, 12 months ago, whenever it was hot. I mean, and surprisingly, Matt, I've got to say, even Extreme Rules, fans still cheer for this guy. There's still something about him. It's unbelievable because WWE have done everything they possibly could for this to not work, but yet fans still actually do enjoy seeing Braun Strowman. He still does have the it factor, and it's not just because of his size. I do think he has something. I remember watching him come out live and I thought, hang on, there is something that's compulsive viewing. He has got presence, and you can have big guys and they don't have it sometimes. We've seen that before, but with him there is. But WWE have done everything in their power, Matt, for this guy to become the biggest joke of them all. We was expecting him at WrestleMania maybe to sort of carry the mantle of a WWE title, Universal belt, whatever. Last couple of weeks, him and Lashley have done better things on Raw. I'll give them that. I would say they've made the most out of what they've been given, but it's still not great news for Braun Strowman, and I think his legacy going forward, because just coming off the back of Raw, which we'll get to, I think it's sort of a little bit disappointed in that aspect. But what do you think about Bobby Lashley and Braun, that match, and the sum up of their feud there?
Yeah, it's just so strange. It's just 2 guys that they couldn't really find a space for, so they just end up having the usual monster versus monster kind of situation that we've seen way too many times. And it is a bit of a shame. I do kind of feel like they're both deserving of more than this. I feel like Braun particularly has been stuck in this kind of area for a long time now. And it's kind of at the point now where he's either going up or down. He can't just maintain this and keep feuding with whoever is the next monster. I mean, Lars Sullivan's out now, so he's not going to be him. So I feel like they're going to be at a point now where they're running out of opponents, because he's been there a long time. He's been through a lot of people, and unless you're going to progress up the cards to heavyweight title shots and that, then I don't know what they're going to do with the guy. But on the other hand, you've got Lashley, and I'm a big fan of Lashley's. I feel like he has all those natural abilities and stuff, and he has that legitimacy about him because of the MMA background. But just another guy that they just treat like any other wrestler. To WWE, he doesn't seem like they treat him like anything special. Yeah, he's got a weekly spot on Raw and he's always there, but he always just feels like he's a utility person. Like if they need someone to fill in a spot in a 6-man tag or a tag team match, just go to Lashley.
Yeah, there's nothing for him, I don't think, at the moment. He is, it's not gone well at all for him, my opinion, since his comeback, which is a huge disappointment because they they had so many opportunities with him to do good things with, but from day one, I feel like they've kind of put him in the mid card range, and that's it. That's his ceiling. Towards the sort of main event, Matt, we had a mixed tag team match. Interesting moment to see Baron Corbin, Matt, using his finisher on a female. I haven't seen that for a long time in the PG era. So I thought that was quite unique, quite different. And this match, well, again, this was a little bit better than I thought. But, man, I don't know. I feel like Becky and Seth, together, the chemistry is god-awful. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. And I know it's real, but maybe some people come across better than others, because this one, it seems to be sort of demasculating Seth Rollins at every opportunity to me. I mean, it's not doing him any good. And Becky, she was hot, but, if you compared the two, when she was hot and fans were really behind somebody, she had more momentum than what Seth had, especially around sort of the back end of last year towards the Royal Rumble. Now, I feel like people are starting to give up on her a bit as well. And I don't know whether it's because she's now associated with Seth Rollins, whether this character of the man being with somebody, I think it dampens it a bit. And I don't think it's helping either of them, if I'm honest. What did you make of the main event, Matt, before obviously we get to the aftermath? But what did you make of that mixed tag team match? And, of course, Baron Corbin, our favourite, with Lacey Evans.
Yeah, it had a little bit more about it than I thought it was going to. I thought it was just going to be very cliche, and I thought Becky was, in the end, going to be the one that got in there and beat up Baron Corbin. I thought we was getting into those kind of territories, and I was a bit like, oh, no, here we go. How far is Baron going to fall? Where's he going to end up after that? But no, they went the other way around, didn't they? And they had Baron Corbin lay her out, which is, they made a whole big deal about how bad it was and evil of him and that and everything. But, they built the reputation of Becky off of the back of being really tough, able to take a beating. So, to have that happen to her, they shouldn't have made such a big deal about it, because she's been in some incredibly brutal matches with Charlotte and that, and gone through tables and stuff. So it's like part and parcel of being a wrestler to her. So to make it like that, it's almost like they're going back in time again. They're being like, oh, this is not the way it should be. Women shouldn't be able to step in there with a man and actually just So I guess they're sort of contradicting themselves on terms like that. But the actual match itself, I thought it was better than I was expecting. And the end, when you see Seth Rollins lose it a bit and you get 3 curb stomps, a nice little dramatic.
We know what it is. He gets his Hulk on when something happens to his missus there, doesn't he?
Like that, but this whole chemistry thing you said about it as well, I don't get it. It is very weird.
Yeah.
And, they're a couple, but I wouldn't say they're a couple that have stood the test of time. It's not that they've been together a hell of a long time. It's almost unfair of WWE to put pressure on their relationship like this by making it so public. I mean, on the counterpart, where does this end? I mean, Charlotte is now in a relationship with Andrade, but they're not going to mention that because they can't market that. They can't make that something that people will buy into. But they get to live their private life and have their relationship to themselves.
Yeah, and some couples on screen do. But I mean, you can go back to Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man. Amazing chemistry. Everyone loved that. And you can look at Lana and Rusev. Fantastic on and off screen. Amazing. You can look at. Trying to think of the Miz, those two, unbelievable chemistry, and they know how to sort of complement each other. But I feel with Becky and Seth, it's just very much company driven, a little bit like John Cena and Nikki Bella was, a little bit awkward at times. I don't like it. I don't think it's helped either of them out of this. I really don't, and mainly Seth. I feel like he's got the real brunt end of this. If you ask me, this has just been another nightmare in his step. And of course,
he's always. This is the problem with Steph, isn't it? It always seems like he's in someone else's shadow.
Yes, Roman or Becky.
Yeah, even though Becky, like she's in the women's division, it was arguably the more popular of the two, wasn't she? When she was hotter than Seth was.
Yeah, and I've got an interesting storyline here. This is DX1. Throw this one in there because with what we're talking about, he'd like to see a storyline here. He thinks he's cracked it for Roman to go here. He says this would do it. This would get WWE back on track. How about Becky and an affair with Roman? There you go.
Oh, man.
That'll do it. The man with Roman. Yeah, I'm not so sure the X1. You might be thinking way more creative than what WWE are there at the moment. On that one, I assume. And then the aftermath, Matt, not even more worse news for Seth Rollins, I suppose. Paul Heyman came out. We were expecting the same old sort of tease, wasn't we, Matt, really? I know I was when he was coming out. I even thought him going down to the ring. I thought, no, it's not going to happen. But it did happen, and sort of out of nowhere, really, which I know it's supposed to be. That's the best idea of a Money in the Bank. Especially after the whole T-shirt, the flipping, the beatbox business and all this lark. And yeah, Brock Lesnar back. Deja vu over again, Matt. Back as the Universal Champion. Can't believe it, really. Or maybe I can. But yeah, he's the Universal Champion. And yeah, he goes in, couple of suplex and the F5 and the 1, 2, 3. That was it. I was always thinking, is Becky going to interrupt this? Is she going to get in and challenge Brock? Are they going to go this far? The man versus the beast at SummerSlam. The mixed match, But no, Seth Rollins losing the title, Brock cashing in, winning. What did you make of that ending, Matt? And how did that leave you feeling? That's the camera's roll.
I don't know. It's going to be divisive here. I feel like a lot of people listening to this will be like, Seth was the man and he should hold the title because he defends it more frequently. Mm-hmm. But I just kind of feel like Seth having the title, yeah, it was good for Seth, but, it didn't really feel that special. He didn't have those like amazing kind of matches that I was hoping he was going to have. I mean, yeah, he didn't have enough time to have them. But even when we got like Seth and AJ and that, I just don't feel like they were memorable. And I feel like perhaps WWE's management are of the same mind, and they feel like the title on Brock, that's the SummerSlam. Like the story is about getting the title off of him, like it much was in the past. It always seemed to be about the person trying to get the title off of Brock. But then it's like we spoke so many times about the investment in Brock, and how even when he lost the title, it still wasn't a clean loss. He still took the shot below the belt, and it still sort of like snowballed into his loss. So we're still waiting for that, and perhaps maybe then if Seth beats him clean, maybe then that's that. But I'm not too sure I can see that happening.
Yeah, and I know we said last time, Matt, that WrestleMania, when Seth become Universal Champion, we both said that was definitely not the way to do it. And what the ideal way to get over on Brock Lesnar, to really carry the mantle, is to have a match like Finn Balor did with him, or Daniel Bryan, or AJ Styles. You go back and watch those matches. Brock's selling all over the place for those guys. And he will do it, but they were much longer matches. And they were like, if Finn Balor or Daniel Bryan or AJ, if any of those guys would have won by the end of it, you would have believed it. Because it went for longer. It was like the underdog, but it played really well. Like even AJ looked good up against. And AJ size-wise, I mean, he's a lot smaller than Seth Rollins, but yet he came across better, I felt, than what Seth did, and the booking of the match. If you can get one of those matches, then Seth gets over. But I just don't know if they have that chemistry between these two guys. And also, and I know I hark back to this, but it also makes me think now, Matt, and I know it sounds odd, but when we go back and look in history, Matt, between, I don't know, WrestleMania 30, let's say, when Taker was beaten for his streak and Brock went on that SummerSlam and basically dismantled John Cena with, 16 suplexes and how Suplex City got made and all the rest of it. I think if we might look back, Matt, and go from that SummerSlam or that WrestleMania, from WrestleMania 30 on to where we are now, 5 years,